All right, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cupcakes, Cocktails, and Conversation. We got a good conversation for you today. I got these lovely gentlemen with me, and they're going to help me start off this show. All right, fellas, go ahead and start introducing yourself.
King, you first.
Oh, I'm first.
King, that be on you. Yes.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know I was first. Good afternoon, good evening. My name's Steve. And I'm here for an indulgent conversation tonight.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 37. I'll be 38 in a couple weeks.
Single, married, divorced, looking?
I'm currently single, semi-looking. I have 0 kids. I got my own job, my own car, my own house. Yeah.
All that?
Yeah, all that.
All right, Tony?
Tony Wolf, the author of the I over E Perspective. Single, not looking, just enjoying my best life.
And how old are you?
49.
49. Over to you, Steve.
Hello, my name is Spade, and I'm a Leo. Like a woman who loves everything and everybody. 35, married, 2 kids. My Wi-Fi is gonna keep cutting out because I'm currently in a renovated house because I thought the broadcast was supposed to be yesterday. I'm going. I'm putting it all out there. Nicole told me Saturday. It's Sunday, but it's fine. So I'm looking crazy with my hood on and everything else. Is there any other questions I haven't answered, man?
I said Saturday, February 28th, so that means Saturday or Sunday.
Correct.
I mean, you could clarify that.
28th. It can't be both.
You absolutely right. One or the other.
In my defense, I am overseas serving the United States Army and the people of America, and I don't have any concept of time. Thank you.
Hey, you out here saving lives.
The day's still the same no matter where you at in the world.
No, today's Sunday. Today's Monday for me.
This is
right now.
Well,
men won't honestly.
So it was Sunday.
We're gonna go ahead and jump into it.
gotcha.
Go ahead, Rob.
Capricorn, and my name is Rob, and I like a woman that's quiet, woman that likes to carry herself like Miss America.
You sound like you looking there, Rob.
Now, I mean, I didn't know we was throwing out zodiac signs, but
Rob, are you single? Are you single, married, divorced, kids, no kids?
Married, 2 kids.
And last but not least,
I'm Kino, and you see Trek with 2 Ks on the bottom because I'm pushing this on the business side, and really only the people who know me for a while, like Nicole, call me Kino, and Rob and a couple others. So single. Yes. Not looking. I got a house. I got a car. And Aquarius. So we usually get along with everybody, but it doesn't mean that we for everybody. That's it.
All
I
right.
mean,
So
I'm an Aries, so I mean, I didn't get the zodiac memo, but now that we all out there, it's all good.
I didn't get the zodiac memo either. I'm a
No,
Sagittarius.
it's cool.
I
It's
don't know what
cool.
that means.
Improvise.
I don't know what that
Right.
means. I don't know what any of that means.
Well, they just telling you what sign they are because some signs are better compatible with other signs, but
If they say so. All right, so let's just get started. It seems to be a lot of public focus on what a woman wants and how they want to be treated by a man. Up until recently, the gears have publicly shifted to inform women about what men really want and what they think when it comes to women. Many people give step-by-step instructions on how to do so, secure and keep, but none of that is a one-size-fit-all. What I mean is people give relationship advice, the 5 things that you can do to do this, the 5 things for that. If you're doing this, you're doing this wrong. To me, giving advice is never a good idea. So I don't give advice. I give advisement. I just feel like have conversations. Everything in life is just a conversation, and you can come up with your own opinion. So we're going to give you guys the time. I'm going to ask the questions as the female entity in the room, and y'all going to give us the real answers. You guys ready?
I'm gonna try.
All right. First question. We're going to go straight out there. What would be your ideal spouse? Perfect world, ideal spouse.
Oh.
Oh, you're allowed to say.
That's a good question.
Some of y'all wives won't beat you up.
Y'all remember Vanessa Bell Calloway's character from Coming to America? When
Yes.
Then
Absolutely.
whatever type of food you like.
Whatever you like.
Whatever type of food you like.
Classic movie, by the way.
There you go. In so many words.
Oh,
So you want someone that is completely
You saw the movie scene. You saw
obedient? Okay.
Wow. Okay.
You saw the movie scene.
Okay.
Yes. In a perfect world, yes. I think that I mean in saying that in a little bit of jest, but I think like in some sense, of course, we all, every man wants a woman that's, relatively his equal and intelligent and all that stuff like that. But I mean, it's sometimes I think in any relationship, you just, knowing how typically like we're very logic based thinkers. Like sometimes I just want you to listen to what I say. That's it. Just listen to what I say. Not being controlling or anything like that, but I mean more so just like, dang man, just listen to what I say and don't question it and stuff like that. And I'm sure it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm. All right, anybody else? What you got?
Had snuck out of the conversation one time, but I'm back in this thing. So to rephrase the question, the ideal trait in a spouse for me is what energy do you bring into my life?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most important thing. Like I don't think any man has a set, only one set type of what he's attracted to as far as the physical, or there's so much that goes into personalities and nuance and things like that. But I think the most important thing overall is what energy do you bring long term to my life, for just a physical type thing or the short term. It really doesn't matter because at any point in time, once this thing goes south, you can cut ties and you can move on with it. But over the course of the long term, if you're really looking to make a lifetime commitment with somebody, those traits that are going to be consistent throughout life are going to be the most important. So if like at the end of what Rob was saying is, do you listen? Are you supportive? Things like that. Are you the type to unload your whatever's onto the next person? Do you have yourself together? Are you addition or are you subtraction to peace and things like that? So it's more so what energy, what feelings, what do I feel around you more so than any other trait.
Well,
right. I think it's a level of loyalty as well. Like, you get some people who are just looking or just jumping from relationship to relationship, and they haven't even gotten over the previous one. So they're serial daters in a sense, and they just looking to recover from the next one and move on to the next, or recover from the last one and move on to the next. And you know what I mean? Like you have to really put yourself in a position to where if shit really hit the fan, like where are you gonna stay or are you gonna go? So you need that loyalty to bind you to whatever y'all gonna go through at whatever points, even if it is early or late in the relationship.
Okay. Tony, what say you? Ideal spouse.
Yeah, just be yourself. I want the person that I meet I want her to be in her natural state. So if we do connect, it's not a representative that I'm connecting with.
Right. Authenticity.
That's it. That's right. I like that.
Nice and simple. Go ahead, Trek. What you got?
I think what Tony said was right. Like, I don't want the representative. And I think at this stage, like, I think when you get older, like, you get a little bit more about do you at least know enough of yourself to be like, this is me, and not sending that representative? Because, like, you got somebody who could probably say, hey, like, this is me, but they not grounded in they self per se. So my core thing, I think, would end up being somebody who's like grounded in they self enough. You know, you can't be absolute in everything if you just turn like 45 and you still got like another 30 years to go to learn and experience life and stuff. But at least be grounded enough in yourself and not, like Tony said, send that representative. And then the other part, like, somebody who's going to push me, like, I would look to push them to better they self and, like, you know, build. Like we talked about in the last thing, like, how you looking at this long run build stuff, not just we gonna get old together and then die. Like, nah, that's not the end of it.
Gotcha. All right. I'm not gonna ask any follow-up questions. You guys, other than Rob's, whatever you like. It seems like realistic expectations of what you're looking for in your spouse. And, you know, even on the jokes of, you know, that scene from Coming to America, it doesn't really make a difference. It's the same. Everybody's looking for somebody that in the long run, at some point, is going to agree with you. And at some point, is going to be on the ride and like trust and believe that we're doing the right thing. So sometimes I just need you to listen. And I think that's what all men would like in a woman. It's like, can you just listen for once? I know you have an opinion, but can you at some point just listen and trust what I'm saying?
Nicole, can I interject real quick, Nicole? Just real briefly about what you just said. And the reason I believe in authenticity is because when we all meet someone, we always ask that question, what are you looking for? And then when you start to give the other person what criteria, characteristics, that person does what I call a resume. You create the resume to fit that particular job, which is the relationship. And then that's what we all just discussed about the representative. And that's why anytime I meet a woman, I say, be you. I don't ever tell a woman what I'm looking for because I want her to be her authentic self.
Oh, absolutely. You start putting on your interview hat and you start giving your best presentation of yourself. Yeah. And that's not really who you are. And you can't keep that facade up for so long.
Right.
So question. I've had this conversation with a lot of people recently. Do you believe in traditional gender roles? And if so, how so?
I mean, for me, that's kind of a yes and a no. Especially with the way that the world is at now, is so many different aspects and so many different levels of what traditional gender roles fall into, especially because of the family dynamics or the family makeup. You know, you get depending on whatever their job is, or let's say the military as an example. You know, you have husbands and wives that deploy, that leaves that father or that mother at home taking care of everything. So it's kind of like they encompass every role that there is to be put on the table because that's the circumstances that they're in.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I'm gonna say no. Just on the end of like, I know for me, I know how to cook. I know how to clean. Don't come to me saying you know how to do that and that's what your added value is to my space. Right. Because I already know how to do those things myself. I've done the whole family man. All right, I'm cooking dinner. I'm packing lunch for tomorrow for the kids and you when you go to work. Like, I've done all of that. So I know I can do it. I know you could probably do it. But if we just offering traditional roles, like, what does that really mean to me if I know I could do it? So I don't look to say, well, my partner has to be this type of woman who believes in the things of what women do. Like, nah, dog, not in this day and age. If we talking about how are we actually working to one, build each other, and sometimes it might be outside of the male female role thing. So I can't be like, no, you can only do that because you're the woman. Like, no.
Well, I believe that to each his own. Whatever works for that couple works for that couple. When I was married, my ex-wife was an exec. She was at work all the time. I had to take care of my 2 stepsons, so I had to cook. I own my own business, so I work for myself. I don't work for anybody else. So I was able to be home, pick them up from school, cook for them, all those other things. It wasn't an issue for us. That worked for us. Some others, it may not. So it depends on the individuals.
Agree. Rob, Fave?
I pretty much agree. I think I agree with everyone else. I think with today, barring how you was raised, and traditional. I think kind of traditional roles is more taboo now, just because, like I said, I agree wholeheartedly. What works for one couple may not. Like, I know, in my house, like I'm the cook. You know what I mean? Like, but that's something that I like to do, so that doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? But I think ultimately what it boils down to is what kind of communication that you've had with your what are they comfortable with, what are they not comfortable with, or whatever have you, and then come to some kind of compromise about it. Because I mean, like, that's literally what I did in my household. Some things, traditionally, like, she should be doing or whatever, I guess, but those are roles that I take, and vice versa. So I think agreeing with everybody else, it kind of is determined whatever compromise that you have in your house about whatever the roles are.
So one of the comments that you can see from the audience, this audience member is 58, been married for 35 years, and she says men take out the garbage and women cook. So do you think that's a change?
I think it's definitely a change. Excuse me, especially because if she'd been married for 35 years, the lifestyle and the era that she grew up in, or that her and her husband got married in, was totally different than it is now. So that absolutely was more traditional, and it worked for them because of the time frame that that they grew up in. Especially if that's what.
Let me just say, the kids took out the garbage and the mom cooked. Okay.
Right. I mean, I took out the garbage at my house, so I get it. But if the time frame is definitely different, and it's gonna change with the dynamic or the current evolution of time. Like I said, she at 58, is a lot more, has been in a relationship a lot longer, and again, the era and the time frame where they started at is absolutely different. So
yes,
and congratulations to them for being married for 35 years. It's a long time.
Thank you. That's my mama. That's my mama and my daddy.
Wait, could I?
That's different. Sonya could take the trash out.
All right, I want to interject on that because Nicole did say something that was very important about the kids took the trash out and the mama cooked. Also, what my partner just said there, I agree with him because the roles have changed, and what I want to bring out is that a lot of the women nowadays are single mothers, and so they have been so independent in taking care of those things that are supposed to be traditionally in a man's role. When they do meet a man, now it's kind of hard, not saying she can't do it, but it's kind of hard for her to give up what she's been so accustomed to without having that male role model in the house.
Because I'm strong and
you know what I'm talking about. Look, my man Rob, you know what I'm talking about. I be like, hey, Hey, I'm like, hey.
strong.
I'm like, okay.
So, wait, can we
You know,
put some things
to
in,
me,
like? Go ahead.
well, that's to me, that's part of a broader conversation that I want to have at a separate time. And it's really just about where was the failure in the Black community and why do we have so many issues and why there's so many women had to step up and become educated and do these things, because we look back in the 80s. We look back in the 80s and stuff, and there's too many people that their spouses were in jail. They were married, spouses are in jail, fathers have left. And so now these children have seen how their mom and their dad may have struggled. So all these women are going to college. These women are going to college and they're trying to fix what was broken in the past. But that's a separate conversation. I don't want to have that today.
I was about to say,
listen to you.
Ooh.
I did a research paper on that.
Yeah, I'm here to listen to y'all, so I don't want to preach on why some of these things have happened. So we're gonna move on to the next subject. And if you want to be part of that panel, just let me know.
Yeah,
Because that's why I talk a lot. All right. But I agree with all of you guys. You know, times have changed, and I think there's no one size fit all when it comes to traditional gender roles. I personally believe in having to cook for my family, but that's what I enjoy. That's what I was raised on. Even though I work and I have a job, and we might work the same hours a day, or I might work more hours a day, I feel like it's still my responsibility to cook for my family. I can't wait to go home and cook for my family. Aaron said they've been eating the same 3 vegetables while I've been gone, and we can't have that. But he's holding it down. He's taken out of the traditional, and he's being mom and dad right now. And he has to cook, and he has to clean, he has to maintain the house, and he has to take care of the kid. And, you know, I appreciate him being able to step outside that box and pick up those roles for me.
I don't necessarily even think it's him being mom. It's just him being a dad. You know, and that's the level of responsibility that it comes with being a parent. You know, it's going to be times where the mom or the dad ain't around for whatever reason. And, you know, when you have the responsibility of kids, you just got to take that as it is, because it's a whole situation. You can't just be like, oh, your mom not here, or I don't got no girlfriend, so I don't know what you're going to eat, little baby.
Pretty much. He is absolutely being a dad and being responsible and taking care of the child.
You know, I'm going to go down there and give my brother a break.
Fave, welcome back.
Yeah,
We were talking about
viewers
traditional gender
for a
roles.
Yeah, so to run back to what my man Tony had mentioned about being self-employed and working for yourself. When you work for yourself, your options change, and when you have different options, you move different. So I think that parallels with the male-female relationships now. Options have changed, so we move differently, and gender roles have changed along with that. So if it's a situation where your only responsibilities in the relationship was to make sure that the domestic situation is A1, then 50 plus years ago, 30 plus years ago, 25 plus years ago, the focus would be for the woman, like, you know, the woman's going to make sure that, you know, when the man comes home from working, his domestic situation is right. There's food, a clean home, things like that. But if now the standard is 2 incomes, now the standard is I'm educated, I'm out here getting mine, I've earned my spot in the world. Her
Right.
focus shouldn't necessarily be on solely domestic issues, and that becomes more of a shared responsibility. So, you know, just as options change, as you grow more into yourself, and as you fight for your place in this world, you're going to expand your role and your options. So I think the bottom line is again what Tony touched on. Whatever works for a couple is what works for that couple. You can understand what goes on in your home, and I think it's nice to have an outline and a roadmap for what needs to be done, but don't allow outside forces to dictate what's best for you, for your house, when you know what needs to be done.
So, devil's advocate,
Ooh,
raise your hand if you would prefer to just come home to a home cooked meal. Oh, nobody.
I don't, Nicole. Hey, Nicole. Nicole, see that's that Wally Cleaver, Leave It to Beaver. You know what I'm saying? That's not even happening. We don't even traditionally have dinner anymore like we used to with the whole
Right.
family.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up, that's what we did. And I know the other panelists, they did the same thing. Everybody you go in the room now, eat. The little kids even take their meals into the rooms now and eat while they watching some type of entertainment. So to say that's something that we look for now is basically this is archaic, if I would say it that way. It doesn't even exist anymore.
I'm agree to disagree. Like in the traditional sense of that, yes, it doesn't exist anymore. But at least from like my standpoint, I don't have my own kids, but any kid that's at my house that I'm responsible for, when I cook, we eating at the table together, whether you have that at home or not, because I know what that togetherness can do. I know that's one of the most perfect times that you can have a random conversation about anything that happened throughout the day or whatever's going on with them, to kind of pick their brain. But it's absolutely mandatory at my house.
All right.
You guys eat together?
Well, can I say I'm gonna tell you a quick little story, 5 seconds. I had my granddaughter last week for school, so I made her lunch. So she said, "I'm going in the room, Papa, to eat." So she was about to take it in the room. Then she said, "Oh no, I'm not, because I'm gonna make a mess on your bed," and then ate on the table. So yeah.
At least she corrected herself.
Yeah, she corrected herself.
So Rob and Phil, you both have wives and kids at home. Do you guys eat together as much as possible? I know it's not.
We do.
Fun.
We do.
Yeah.
It's if it's one, especially if it's one of those days where like, it's like everybody done cooked like a big meal or something like that. Definitely. I want to say at least like 3 times a week we sit down and eat together. Like, cause I'm making a point to do that just cause brother just said, that's kind of like how I was raised. Like, it wasn't no going and sitting in the living room and watching TV while you ate. Like you ate, we all sat down together, ate, and everybody went on about their business. So I try to recreate that as often as I possibly can.
Yeah,
Can I ask Rob a question real quick before the other one say the other Murray? Rob, do you take the phones from them while they're at the table?
Well, mine aren't old enough to have phones yet, but
okay.
But they have laptops and iPads, and those are safely secured in the drawer.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do a hybrid. So just the way that the house is laid out, like we pretty much essentially have a kids table. So like my wife and I eat at the bar, so to speak, and the kids sit down at their table and eat. And truth be told, the TV is on probably about 95% of the time, but it is there is tradition in place, but it's also like a modern tradition. And wow, with giving credit to my wife, she works full time. She's in the military, so it's more than full time. But she still takes it upon herself to be the primary chef of the home, so she does the cooking. And so I think just out of respect for the effort that she makes to make that happen, as a family, you owe it to shut down whatever you're doing and at least sit down and collectively experience having dinner as a family every day.
Right.
All right. Like that. I like that.
Trek, you look like you got something to say. What's the matter? You all right?
So, like, one of the things that I am not a fan of in the Black community in particular is this thing of us being monolithic.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I feel like X amount of what I've heard so far, myself included, is like that. Let me try to paint this, well enough sounding picture, presentation. It's just like, wait, like, because how I look at history and some things, because you said the thing about like, when did we drop the ball in the Black community or whatever? And this thing of talking about, well, traditionally, blah, 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 as far as like how we were raised as kids and stuff, to where we are now, right? And like TV dinners became a thing in the 70s.
It's true.
And before that, you had, what is that, in the 40s, 50s, World War II and all that stuff had ended playing out. The majority of men in the US were all fighting the war. So women were at home doing the full house thing. All right, I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna go pay these bills. I'm gonna raise this kid. It wasn't just exclusive to the white women. It was the black women too.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
when I hear the stuff of like, oh, well, you know, it was always like, wait, it was always like what? Like, this isn't a new thing of having, quote, single moms. The numbers might be different. Having latchkey kids is definitely somewhat frowned upon on now, but it don't mean it don't still happen.
I was a latchkey kid. I turned out just fine.
Right. So, but it's one of those things where, like, you know, I hear stuff and how we talk about things within the, quote, black community and this monolithic thing of, well, if you don't do it like this because this is how black people are supposed to do it or how we're supposed to present it, like, I don't know if you're really doing it right. Now, the dinner thing, yeah, like eating in a group, breaking bread, it does definitely do something for how you communicate, how you build rapport, how you learn about each other, and just being able to talk about your day and stuff, and especially like with the kids too, and understanding what's going on with them. But it don't mean that you can only do it at dinner time. Like when I used to, well, before this whole COVID thing was going on, like I dropped my daughter to school in the morning. So, you know, drive from the place in Brooklyn down to where her school was, and then work it out. I'd pick her up and stuff like that. And they'd be like, all right, so what's going on with this? What's going on with that? And, you know, we had these conversations. Or like, my kids don't live with me now. My kids are X amount older. But one of the things that I would make sure to do, if I couldn't do a like let's cook in the house thing, it's like, all right, I'm gonna grab both of y'all, let's go eat. And you know, you got your favorite place, so we're gonna go to your place and we're gonna eat this time, and the next time I'd go to the other one's place, or we do like a buffet thing, and it's like, all right, so what's going on with this, that, and third? Commonality is the food part of it, right? Because the food is the part that you can be able to talk and build and stuff on. My point in the whole thing is like this mono thing of how we supposed to like fit a certain mold or do things a certain way, like it ain't like universal. It ain't like it ain't always been like that. That's my other thing to it.
Dinner.
I'm just talking about in general for how black people are supposed to relate in regards to relationships, in regards to gender roles, in regards to how we interact with our kids. Like X amount of us grew up in a generation or the era of where, like, if you saw a kid getting beat in public and you knew that was their parent, you're like, all right, we know what that is. But yet we at this point now where somebody ready to call the cop on you, child services on you, it's going to be at your house by the time you get there. And it doesn't mean that kids still aren't getting beat. It's just a whole different social norm.
I feel like that's a whole different conversation.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Kids is definitely getting beat.
Yeah, that's about raising kids. So let's move on. We're going to go to social media. How do you think women should conduct themselves on the IG, the Snapchat, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, because they drop it in your DMs in the LinkedIn. I'm telling everybody. So how do you think that women should conduct themselves, especially women that are looking, well, you know what, all women that are looking, that are married, how should they conduct themselves on social media?
I don't know.
What turn you off? Like,
look,
yo, like, okay. Look, I'm gonna say it like this.
I think that's a loaded question. I think that's a loaded question. So, like, and again,
it's loaded question.
Touching back on what Tony said is that you should conduct this. You should throw out the bait that you want to catch. So, like, I don't think it's for us to say how you should conduct yourself. You should just be well aware of, like, yo, if I throw this bait out, this is what I'm going to pull back in. As long as you have to be accountable for your actions. So if
Expand upon that.
if this is what you want, this is what you gotta do.
Exactly. That
So,
was exactly.
what do you mean? What do you mean by if this is what you want? So give an example.
So like let's start with the obvious. So like if you talk about an IG situation and it's like all ass shots, it's all like, you know what I'm saying, I wish you would, if you were here with me, what would you do with it type things. If your comments are like your followers, your comments, your whole interaction, your whole everything about your presence is going to reflect the bait that you're throwing out there. If you are, if your thing is, you know what I'm saying, I'm a professional, you know what I'm saying, I'm out here doing these t-shirts and I'm, everything you do is
Somebody go ahead and pick up from where he left off.
I was literally thinking the exact same thing. You dish out what you want back. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, put it this way. Oftentimes, we already know how we can approach certain women. I mean, let's just be real. Like, nobody's ever going to really. I mean, we know how to approach. Like, if I'll take that back, a brother that got some sense. You're going to know how to approach certain women. Other women, you can come at kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Just because of the way that they present themselves, whatever like that. So you present, what you want back. If you throw out some horrible bait, you're going to get some horrible fish. You know what I mean? You throw out some quality bait, you're more than likely going to get some quality fish.
All right. So I always use the word perception, right? We used to have an old saying back in the day, Trek, back in the day again, about ducks of a feather flock together, right? So there may have been some young ladies when we was coming up that may have been a little open, as we would say, but one of the young ladies may have not been. But because she hung around those who were, we looked at them a certain way. So we go back to what Rob said, and Faye said that what you put out there is what we perceive. But they may not even be that way, but because they want that attention, they want that what's they got this Instagram thing where you get all these likes and then you can get some commercials and all that. So those are the things that we are perceiving because of the perception that they're putting out there. So sometimes it ain't always what it seems to be. All right.
But don't that go the opposite way of where you got the lady who, what is it? What did they say? A lady in the streets and a freak in the bed, but like it's next level freak in the bed. Like,
well,
I'm freak in the sheets.
Hey Trek. Hey, look, now you want to go there? I'll take you with my father just turned 87 years old. And I had to learn what that meant when I was a young teenage boy about a freak. We had a guy who dealt with a girl in the neighborhood. She gave him love because she felt that she loved him. So when they broke up, he was telling all of us, "Oh, shorty a freak." So now all of us think we can come at her a certain way. But my father told me she's not a freak to all y'all. She was a freak to him because she loved him at that time. So that's why I had to learn at a young age that just because she's a freak to you in the sheets, don't mean she's gonna be a freak to everybody else in the sheets.
Oh, that's facts. No, I totally agree on that. That is something I learned a while ago. But what I'm saying though is when we talk about like that, what is put out as the bait, and whether you're doing it through social media and stuff. Like I know some people who talk a real good game on social media.
Right. All right, don't be weak. Don't be weak. Hey, I'm a strong man. If you watch me on my other stuff, I don't go for it. So don't be weak. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I could get real deep on Nicole's show right now, but I'm gonna be kind of like laid back because I usually go out a little wild when I talk about this type of subject. But we'll leave it like that.
So one of the comments was, "What does being a lady? What does that consist of nowadays for men? What is considered being a lady to you?"
Really? They asked that question? Really? Let me be quiet.
No, let them know. They want to know.
How do we have to tell a lady to be a lady? She supposed to have been taught that. I got 2 granddaughters. I open the doors for my granddaughters. I say, this is what a man's supposed to do. I respect them. Yes, ma'am. How you doing, young lady? Princesses. Certain things that I instill in them as young girls, so when they get up, they'll say, my papa said this is what it's supposed to be. So for her to ask us that at the age we at now, I think we need to move on to another question. Next.
Now on the so if you raise your child, and we're going on the female side thing too, where it's you have a certain expectation to the level of entitlement on stuff. And that is how you understand being a lady. And it's the same thing in regards to being a boy and growing up into a man or whatever. Because it's funny enough, I remember I was talking for a short period with this one young lady I met. And like she was kind of breaking down some of her upbringing. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, so you really don't know how to. She didn't understand enough of how to take care of herself as a single adult. But then the other parts of like that being a lady and being able to be independent as herself, like, but that was based on how she was raised though. So like that whole like, well, you know, what is it that a female is asking us to say, well, what is a lady for in this day and age? It's like, I think that's a relevant question. Like, I don't got an answer for you though. Like, because I might think one thing is cool. Like if she's showing booty shots on IG, I could be cool with that because I know that's my booty, quote my booty, right? But then the next person is like, nah, like I don't need no female that I'm with doing stuff like that.
Right, because it just goes to, like if you putting it out there for everybody to see, then what's making it special for me? You know, you advertising to everybody. What?
Like
what?
It's in your house, like. It's like how some people get mad, like, oh, you watch porn. Okay, but if that's somebody you don't know in real life. Now, when they go, oh, you like what's her name picture or what's his name picture who live over there. Yeah. Now that's on like, oh, there's somebody you could actually really contact in real life.
Right. It's a little bit, it make it a little bit more real to them. I was trying to read the comments and
I read the comments, so I was going to interject on that because what Trent was just saying, it went back to what I discussed earlier about being your natural self. This young lady is asking about or making a statement about what happens when she takes off her wig and her toenails and looks like a pit bull or whatever like that. Or my thing is natural hair. The thing is like this right here. I'm always got to say this. Me personally, I don't like makeup. I don't like the fake nails. I want a woman to be naturally because as a particular race, our skin is already made to be beautiful within itself. And so when you take and do makeup, people don't understand what it's saying. You're making yourself into someone else. So you're covering your natural beauty. And so when we take you in there, you start sweating in the sauna, then you be like, where my girl at? They be like, I'm here, baby. No, that's who I came in with. So just for the young lady who made the statement, try to always walk in your natural beauty, baby girl.
Well,
give Mary Kay, Liz Taylor, and all that stuff back. All right.
I think the woman that made that statement is Nicole's mom, and Sonia, I don't think he's necessarily talking at you or directing that to you.
Hey, hold up, boo. She called me boo. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Look, you beautiful without that makeup, baby. Put that natural hair. No. Wear your natural hair, girl.
My mom is super natural hair. She's ready. Natural hair. I was one
That's
of those
what I'm talking.
People growing up, I had natural hair most of my life. People question why I didn't have a perm, and most of my answer was always because I don't need it, unlike you. But I want to say this, and I think the point where you guys are missing a little bit is women present themselves in a way to attract men. And you guys are full of yourself if you don't believe that you're the problem. We only do what you want. We're only putting the stuff out there that gets your attention.
Nicole, you're about to have Tony Wolf come out. The I Over E perspective guy's about to get on you, Nicole. No, you don't want that, Nicole. Nicole, you just said that women do what they want us to do so we can be attracted to you?
So I'm a woman, right? You guys are men. So from a woman's perspective, these women do these things to attract men. They're doing what they do to attract men. So the question is to you, what should they do to attract men? If the weaves are not what y'all want, stop going after girls with weaves.
You know what? This right here is giving me a headache. I haven't had a headache in 35 years. I'm trying to figure this out.
It's the truth.
I'm really, Nicole, you're a beautiful sister from what I see, right? What I'm saying is it's mental. It's mental. It's mental. I deal with
This is not for me.
Nicole.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, listen what I'm saying. Nicole, you pretty much know you got a little feedback on my bio. I get calls all the time from females because I do relationship therapy. Women, let me say this cordially and respectfully to Mama Nicole also, women have a lot of damaged goods within their psyche, all right? And the reason I say that is because they want to proceed or project this particular thing to a man so they can get the man, but it's not who they are. So they can't maintain what they projected in the beginning. That's why I said in the beginning, be your natural self. So when the man falls for you, he falls for the authentic person.
But that's what I'm saying. So we just said the same exact thing. Women are doing these things to attract men. So the question is, what is it that they need to be actually doing? That's why you guys are here.
Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. Nicole, be yourself. Nicole, be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself.
Trust me, I am so much myself.
So here,
That's true.
especially in this social media, women need to stop listening to other women on advice how to get a man. That is, and going to, and I saw like on a couple posts and stuff like, these like showing off their body or like this butt is gonna get me this guy, or this is gonna get me. Why you listening to what another female is telling you how to get a man? You know what I mean? It's and telling you how to get a man. Right. What times and stop listening to women who don't have men themselves. Like I call them Pam. Like how you gonna listen to someone who doesn't understand how you're gonna get a man? So I guess in a sense, go to kind of the source. Go to the source and stuff. Talking to. I'm not. If I want to know what a woman wants, I'm not. I'm going to talk to a woman.
Okay.
Or
what else I got?
Talk to the particular woman that I'm interested in.
What?
All right. So let me ask this.
I think Tony mic muted. He's saying something. His mic is muted.
Oh.
You said you asked me a question?
No, I think they said your mic was muted. I think Tony was talking to somebody else, y'all.
I was listening. I was listening to Rob, right? When Rob was saying, but it was just my brother was saying something about the perception of when you put yourself out there with the half body showing naked, then you wonder why the man only looks at you as an object for sex. And then you saying, dang, I really want a relationship. And it goes back to what we discussed earlier about perception. You really want a relationship. You might be a good woman, but because of the perception that you put out, the thing that you put out there brought a different perception to us as men. That's all.
But I want to counter on that one right there, and I know Nicole gonna hate me on this one.
Come on, Trent. Come on from up top. I want to hear this up top from New York. Let me hear this.
That whole thing of like, oh, if you dress a certain way, I only have to respect you a certain way because dressing is equated to morality, right? Some of the most well-dressed people can be the biggest assholes, right? Some of the most well-dressed people can be the biggest scammers and liars and psychopaths and narcissists, right? And then even let's run back way back when people only yesterday still walking around in loincloths, and that culture works where, hey, I'm respecting this other person because this is a other human being. this whole thing of like, oh, I only have to respect you because of the amount of clothes you wear. Like, I think that's some religious-based sexist crap, honestly. But that's just my thought process on it.
Okay, hey Trek, I'm gonna say one word, and I said it in the beginning: perception. That's it.
It's all about
It doesn't have to be true,
Right.
but what you perceive from the individual based on what they're putting out there. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, you're on point. But it was what I said. Like Nicole, I said something. Nicole said I said the same thing, Tony. But it's a different way, and that's the thing about us. We can all be on the same page, but come in a whole different direction. We come in from a whole different way, right?
So speaking of perception, and Tony mentioned good woman. So what do you guys think for you? What are your characteristics of a good woman?
I mean, for me, it's got to be somebody who's gonna be willing to meet me halfway. And I talk to people about this a lot, or it's mentioned a lot. And if I want somebody that I can mold, I'll have a kid. You know, I don't want somebody that I gotta remind to be an adult or to take care of certain things that they should be able to take care of as an adult. You know, so it's just like if we are two separate entities and we gonna come together and build on something, I need you to at least be able to meet me halfway and not be intimidated by what I bring to the table. Don't worry about what I'm bringing to a sense or in a sense, but worry about what you can contribute. And like my man said earlier about energy, worry about what you are going to bring in the relationship to build us, not necessarily just build you. It's okay while we're building us to build each other, but we still have to build that together. She's running around on Instagram twerking. Hold on. She go and get the amount of respect that. Oh, absolutely. And I think again, it is perception and it is authenticity, but at the same time, we as a whole have to learn what our worth is. If you don't know your worth, you're just gonna be available and give it to anybody who's willing to take it. But at the same time, if you know what you're willing to put up with or what you're willing to put out and present to the world, that's the kind of, like they were saying, that's the kind of stuff that you're going to attract. Most females or most women grow up to marry somebody they want to grow up to marry to somebody that's like their father. And the same thing for most women. They want to grow up to marry somebody that's like their mother because that's the example that they've had. It doesn't always necessarily work out that way. But hold on, because I'm reading the comments too.
All right.
And it's
Go ahead. Tony.
So Nicole, I just want to say this real quick, then I'll let her, the rest of the panel can speak. You said what do we look for a good woman? I don't know anybody faith-based, but I'm going to read a little small portion of Proverbs 31:10. A good woman is hard to find. Let me say that again. A good woman is hard to find. Let me say it 3 times. A good woman is hard to find. However,
I'm gonna say it another time for him. A good woman is hard to find.
Exact. Okay. Proverbs 10. But let me. But Nicole. Okay. I'm gonna scrape myself out with this little rest of the part. Okay. And worth far more than diamonds. Her husband trusts her without reserve and never has reasons to regret it. Never spiteful, she treats him generously all her life. So when he finds that good thing, right? Only us as men, as our individual character natures of us, then we'll know when that good woman has come into our lives.
All right, I like that. With it. So what characteristics for you?
I don't tell you. I don't tell no woman what I'm looking for because I want her to be authentic. All right. See, you listen to that. Hey, Trent, I don't want to hear nothing from you, Trent. All right. I see you over there shaking your head.
I mean, it was just like really interesting that the Bible was there and that particular section and chapter was open. Like,
it was open for you too.
He prepared for that. He prepared for that.
Almost like
I think too is somebody that you know that you can connect with. That's meant. It's more than just physically. You got to connect with them mentally, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. You got to meet somebody that's on the same level or that's going to have the same drive or same goals as you do. And again, it takes a lot to pick that out of somebody because initially, and I was reading back in some of the comments, they say it's just look based, and that's men and women because that's what you see. You see what you're attracted to because you have a type. You know what you like, you know what you don't like. So you're going to naturally gravitate to what you're attracted to physically before you know anybody, what they like and they dislike, what they mentally like, what they faithfully like, what they spiritually like. So you get all of that after the initial physical reaction of seeing somebody.
What say you, Rob? What's your characteristics?
What say you?
What say you?
Whatever
you like.
Hilarious. I think just based on like what I think now, and all the relationships that have this culmination. I think especially if you're gonna be with somebody for the long haul, I think the biggest characteristic is adaptive.
Yeah.
Just because you're not, how we meet in the beginning is not how our relationship is gonna end. So life happens, and so in order to navigate that, you have to be adaptive. Kind of how we was talking about gender roles. I mean, I think all of that stuff you need to be adaptive in. About gender roles earlier, like which you even what you like on mate, like some of the things that we said that we want out of a person. Those things. So I think, like I said, basically just to kind of just very simplistically answer your question. I mean, some of the biggest things I look for is being adaptive because I know I'm not even the same person I was last month.
Right.
So
Right.
if you don't have anybody that knows how to grow and adapt with you growing, that's you're doomed.
Flexibility, because like he said, the person that you meet initially is not going to be the same person that you are going to grow with. It's not going to be the same person that you're working toward goals with. A lot of things happen, and it's a lot of stuff is make or break. And then like I was saying earlier too, you have to have that person that's going to be in the trenches with you, not like, oh man, well my man down, let me kick him while he down there, or while he down, I'm gonna just continue to make myself better. And then it's just like, then when he get back up, it's just like, oh, well, where you been, homie? Like, what's...
So I just want to move forward.
Okay.
Well, no, because here's a question that I would say most women have.
No.
Why does it take? No, what do you mean no? Why does it take so long for a man to commit to a woman?
It don't.
Because you change up all the time. You like Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. But anyway, go ahead.
No,
I have a response to that, but I'm gonna be a listener.
I don't necessarily think that it takes them long to figure out what they want, because most men know within a certain time frame what they're going to accept and what they're not going to, what they want to be a part of and what they don't. Most men will do whatever they allowed to, and it's the same thing for women. They're gonna do what they're allowed to do, and if they know that they can come and go as they please, and you're not gonna say nothing about it, they're gonna continue to do that.
Exactly. So I said, if you haven't made it a requirement for me to settle down, why the hell do I need to settle down?
Right. But if you go into it with the idea of you not settling down, or that's another conquest for you, that's exactly what it's going to be. I'm not going to commit to something and to where I know that I don't want it to go past a certain level. So somebody said, why not let her go? Why she won't let him go?
Why not lay out those expectations and standards?
Absolutely.
Again,
I'm so glad you said that.
Why not let
Go ahead.
If you're gonna let me, I mean, it's just like if I keep going to the ATM every single day and getting $100 and not having to pay no fees and not it damaging my bank account. If I knew
give me that $100
free every single day, well, why do I need to? You know what I mean? Like, why commit? It's like, you know, the whole by the cow and all that other craziness. Like, if it's
So,
not,
because this is what men want, I'm not going to dignify any of this that y'all are saying.
exactly. So
The response that I have,
because it's not about,
And that's fine, but
it's not about,
like Rob just said, you have to lay out those expectations from the beginning. I got a friend right now who he was dealing with a girl or a woman who he laid those expectations out. A couple weeks into it, next thing you know, she talking about buying a house, getting a damn dog, going on vacations and all of this other mess. And he like, hold on, shorty. We laid out from the beginning what this was going to be, and now you're catching more feelings and you're changing what you want the expectation to be.
Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde. Mrs. Hyde is calling. Mrs. Hyde is calling.
I mean, and let's be honest. In most cases, let's be real. If a man wants to commit to you, he will.
He's going to.
He's
Absolutely.
going to. And,
Absolutely.
And that's just point blank period. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's why I said for those people that it might make it kind of shaky if there may be a lack of communication in that area, then it may take a little bit longer. But now that man wants to be with you, I assure you, with
He will.
he is going to be with you.
That man will cross rivers, climb mountains, and whatever else he got to do.
Exactly. If a man wants to be with you, he's going to be with you, and you can't force, guilt him, or whatever have you. It's going to happen organically, and that's the
But if
beautiful.
he's gonna be loyal,
so the reason why you won't let them go and walk away is because they can be.
Hold on, that's kidnapping. I'm in the legal field. You cannot hold anybody against their own will. I practice criminal law. That's kidnapping. So how can you hold somebody and can't let them go? No.
From a non-legal standpoint, she's saying why you can't they emotionally let them go. They won't emotionally let them go because there is no emotional connection. It's
I'm just
all
saying, like, why don't you
physical
just break up?
Huh?
Oh, because they have it's convenient to be for the physicality
Right.
portion.
If they know, they know that they can get whatever they want out of this particular relationship or out of this particular female, and there's no other expectation, like Rob said, if we're not building to submit something or we're not building to commit, and I know that I can get whatever I want to get from you and then go on and do whatever I'm going to do, that's why I'm not going to let you go. Because your benefit, not necessarily to me, but your benefit to that person. And they're going to use you as long as they can. They're going to do whatever they want. And they're going to do what you're allowing them to do.
And then, the reality is this too. I mean, it's like it might not be you, sis. It might not just it might just be you. Like I might not want to commit to you.
Right.
You're cool,
but you're not that cool. We're not on it like that.
But I mean, I'm not gonna, because I mean, it's been women like that's been around for a season in my life, and it's been women that's been in my life for a reason. You know what I mean? But the reality is, like, the ones who I want, I cuffed them. Like they didn't have to give me an ultimatum. There wasn't like uncomfortable conversation. Like I knew, like, like I want to be with you. You know what I mean? I want to be with you. And those that let me play, I played.
Right. Because what they say about a stray dog,
man, it's gonna always come back.
All right, I want to hear Trek real quick because he always got something very interesting and intellectual to say. Yeah, come on, Trek. Come on, give me something, man.
I don't got nothing. Like my whole thing is, you're gonna figure it out at some point, right? Like the funny part is, at least in my experiences, you might be at that point, but the other person might not interpret your actions because of their insecurities to mean that. And so I think that insecurities like definitely mess things up a lot for interpretation. Like even when you try to like talk stuff out in the beginning, talk stuff out throughout the process, and then that day comes where it's just like, all right, like, nah, I'm not feeling this for whatever reason. All right, fine. Then the other part too is like, if you one of those people who be on some like, I want to play and I'm going to play forever, whether you male or female, my whole thing is just find somebody that you can go and play with. Like, I remember I was talking to this one lady, and not in like a relationship way kind of scenario, but just we were talking in conversation, and she was telling me how her ex-husband was cheating on her for years. And then one day, like, she gave him the ultimatum part of like, yo, like, you gonna stop? Because he did it with someone who she was like, yo, like, that person is on the no-no list. And he crossed the line and was with that person. And he said no. And she's like, all right, well, then let's do it together. He then goes no again because I can't see another man being with you. And it was just like, wait, what? Like that. I was just like, bro, like when she said it, conveyed the story to me, I was in my head just like, yo, that's some real a-hole shit right there. Like, how could you say that to her after you already crossed the line and like she stayed with you for all these years?
That's
you.
He said we're not gonna switch up the situation at the end of the game.
The situation is working for him.
But you know what's
not about. Go ahead.
So he didn't. He said what he said. She was like, "All right, bet." They separated, divorced, and everything. Now she's in the life. How about that?
Wow.
Hey, she found herself.
Right. I like it.
Right, but he cheated. He cheated for as long as he did because whether she knew about it or if she knew about it and she allowed him to do it, that's why he continued to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was allowed to.
I'm not saying no
consequence.
Well, he thought there was never going to be a consequence at the end of it.
Right, but if she found out, she gave him an ultimatum. It wasn't like she was like, "Oh, I know that you're cheating on me. I'm out." Like you either gonna stop or you not, or we gonna do it together. Then he said no, so it's just like, what the hell do I do now?
She left. She left, and then she went to the life. Like,
right, but I mean, she knew she wasn't gonna be able to do the life with him because my man had already made the decision for her. My wife won't be out here doing whatever she want to do. You crazy? I'ma do it, but you be a damn fool if you think you're gonna have me looking like a damn circus clown.
But okay, so here's the funny thing on that, right? This is that whole male ego thing on like, oh well, like the double standard of if the dude out there doing his thing on the side, and then it's like, well, the ego thing plays in because the female, when she knows or her people's knowing and someone says something to her, now she's feeling away because now this is out in the public. And then the dude on his male ego side is, oh, he gonna feel away because now it's out in public. Why? Because you're gonna have the folks saying stuff to you like, oh, so that's what's going on in your house. You're not being the man or you're not being the proper woman. Like egos is some real rough things, man. They can
So that you brought up cheating a little bit. There's this perception that women, because we're a little delusional sometimes, we believe that all men cheat. Is that true?
All men do cheat. All of us cheat. That's what it is. We all cheat.
I think all women cheat too.
We all cheat. Hey, man, listen. Let me tell you something. But see, when I say this, men say, "Man, Tony, why you say that?" I didn't say you cheated physically. We cheat sometimes mentally. That's why they say you can look at it, but don't touch. We'll see a woman walk down the street with the nice behind. We'll see a woman with the big boobs, and we'll look and say, that mental state, because as men, I know me. I'm not gonna say y'all, but I know me. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But that's only in passing. But let me come back and straighten it up for all the married men out there. But you always remember what you got at home. All right? Remember that. All right? I just saved you, right? All right, now you're good. Your wife won't do nothing to you tonight. All right?
Not Rob. Rob don't cheat. Rob is a good man.
On record.
Rob is a smooth operator. Every time I look at Rob, he made me think about that goddamn Sade song. Coast to coast, LA to Chicago, Washington. Yeah, Rob, I like you, man. He's
a family man. Okay,
First of all, let's just be clear. Black men don't cheat. So let's just
Hello.
There you go.
get that out
Hello.
there.
Hey, Rob, I just told you I'm in criminal justice. You just did two things that showed me that you're lying, and you didn't even know you did it, did you? You said, "Oh, black men don't cheat," and then you touch yourself. We learned that in criminology, man. Don't do that. Okay, next time. All right, yeah. Now back to you. All right.
He was at a family barbecue. Don't do my mans in them like that.
All right. So if we're saying it as far as like coveting with the whole mental thing, then all right, yeah, if that's going to be the baseline that we're using.
Right.
Everybody cheats then. I mean, if that's the case, then
Yeah.
everybody does. So
Because everybody with eyesight gonna look at something.
thank
Yeah,
you.
that's all it is. That's why I say every man cheated. I always have to explain that. You know, the girls have their girl nights out, and they might say, "Ooh, girl, he's fine," you know, and they married, you know, but they just looking at something, and it's not that they move on those you know, reactions or whatever like that, because they know what they got at home also. So that's why I always say that. But everybody always think I mean physically becoming intimately with another person. Nah, but I'm not always talking about that.
All right. So this is another conversation I've been having. Do we think that marriage is still a necessity?
No,
Depending on your goals.
no.
How so?
Because if you talk about it from a like business perspective, I was looking at something the other day that was talking about how when you look at like Fortune 500 folks, the vast majority are in a higher tax bracket, in part because the partners like complement each other in what they're doing in either the different industry or the same industry, compared to when you look at the single like CEO type folks. And just looking at like a marriage's original practice, it wasn't about love and, you know, warm fuzzy feelings in your stomach. So
So it's about business.
I mean,
Marriage is a business because we have to legally legally get together and legally get divorced.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
people get upset with me because I what's the name, Trex? Say it's a business type of thing, because if you look at it, if two different people are two separate entities, right? They're two separate businesses. And when one business has something that the other business is looking for, that's a supply and demand. So when you can come together on that, that's a merger, right? So then y'all coming together to build on something more. And then if things work out, great. If they don't, what happens? You got to separate, liquidate your assets, and go your separate ways.
Okay, I'm agree with that, and I'm agree with you and Trek real quick. And I'm just say this because I deal in the legal field. That part with what Trek said is 1,000% right. However, it puts the government in your business, and that's why I don't always like the marriage part, because you get married, the government comes in your business, you do benefit, like Trek said, in the tax bracket. You said something about the merger, which does come a one unit. However, if you go to get things liquidated, who has to make that judgment call? Not the two people that got married, a court of law. So now you got somebody else making a judgment call on some money that you and another individual established.
Right, but that's usually if
And
people
that's why they got
come to
prenup.
some type of agreement by themselves, and that's why they presented something that's called a prenup. Whatever you come in with, you leave out with.
So then what's the purpose of us getting together to make something and grow? You just said we grow together as a merger.
What you got, I want what you have, the dog has, the cat has. I want everybody's stuff.
hey, I'm just
I
saying.
mean, I'm an investor. As an investor, I want all the stuff at the end.
Bezos
Yeah, that's
gave
how
his-
women are. That's why I said when you said about marriage, I said no. You see, you just told on yourself. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
I want the dental benefits, the health benefits. I want everything I can get. Can I get the flooring?
Yeah,
Can I get the TVs, the
Damn.
couch, the dog bowl, the
No.
trash can, the dog food?
Without the lid.
You're gonna hurt my feelings and think you're gonna leave
So look-
scot free. Not today.
now,
We didn't even hurt Nicole, Rob, Trek, and my man here. And look at it, she already taking it out on us. You see that? We ain't did nothing to her.
So look,
But here's a kicker. Here's a kicker. Lamar is my brother-in-law. Okay, I am married to his brother. I am
Hello.
joking. I'm taking everything, and my husband's in the audience somewhere. I'm taking everything.
No, man. No, man.
saying.
Do I need to remind you what happened at the end of my speech at y'all wedding?
Lord.
We not fighting. I'm taking everything.
Okay.
So now look at this. Now granted, like everybody wants to paint a picture like it's like this love and blah blah. But look, like I'm a big history buff. Look at history. Like back in the day, like they would join like for war campaigns. Like let our two houses get together because you have a big army, I have a big army. Let my daughter marry your son so we could join our houses together. Or
Right.
you or your family might have a big farming, a big farm business, whatever. However, my family makes steel or something like that. Let's join our houses so we can have both aspects. I mean, and if you look at it now and let's be honest, look at how other how ethnicities get married and stuff like that.
Two
Like,
people don't be good looking together at all.
at all. I mean,
There's a reason for that.
I think for other ethnicities,
Arranged.
they look at how, what can this person's family do for me?
Right.
Other family do for my son or for my daughter. If I let my daughter marry this kid, is it to be able to take care of her or whatever have you? And I mean, like slowly but surely, started making it sound like, oh, we're just getting married for love and all this other stuff like that. Was it
really us?
I think we were kind of pushed into it and influenced into it heavily.
What I'm saying is, was it us who was like, yeah, like you see what I'm saying as far as like what is the perception of what is ideally black? Like that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, come on. A lot of that stuff was influenced by those folks anyway. You know what I mean? But ultimately, like marriage is 100% a business. Now, granted, you can still I don't knock at all. Still they love one another, whatever have you. But I mean, you have to still have some kind of compatibility,
Right.
and whether it's being forthright, especially in today's days, whether it's the man or the woman, somebody needs to be the CEO of that marriage. You know what I mean? There has to be leadership because regardless if it's the woman or the man leading, there needs to be some type of leadership there. You know what I mean? So 100% you need to manage. Look at it. Let's break it down. Let's even break it down further. Your marriage needs to have all aspects of a business. You need to have an HR section. You need to have a diversity section. You need to have somebody that manages the finances. You need to have somebody that manages the entire vision, the forward movement of the company, which is the marriage. You need to have somebody, in that relationship who knows how to navigate all of those roles. You need to have all those roles there in order to have a successful marriage. So 100% marriage is 100% business because you know why? If I co-sign on a car for you and you screw it off, my credit is now messed up.
Right.
Now you've hurt the business, by you. If I go out and cheat or you go out and cheat, that's an HR issue. You know what I'm saying?
You damage your brand.
Yeah.
But you really got to think as a business. So there's still love and there's relationships and caring there, but ultimately you run your marriage like a business in my opinion. I think you need to run your marriage like a business.
And I mean, you can definitely have love in that because if you love what you do, you're gonna put forth extra effort in that. You love your business. You're gonna love the person that you're in business with.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
something happened,
So for me, being married, I've been married for 10 years now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, 10 years now. And I think it's a combination platter. I'm married for love and potential. I'm married for love and potential. I'm a woman, so for me, everything is emotionally driven, but I was in love with the man that I married. However, I also knew the potential of the man that I married, and I knew what we can build together as a cohesive unit. So from the woman's perspective, it's always going to have an emotional feel because that's just the way we lead with our hearts. We don't always lead with our brains. And that's just a fact. We lead with our hearts. Everything with us it comes from here. You know, when I met Aaron, it was a little business because I had to show him how we would benefit together going forward. Like this would make sense if we came together. Like this can only make sense.
Right.
And for the most part, from a business standpoint, we're doing pretty well. The business is growing and thriving.
Pretty well, you mother. Know what?
The business is thriving.
It's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yes, and you know, my mom made this comment. She says, never thought of my 35 years of marriage as a business. It's emotional. And I would have to say I agree with my mom, but the same token, the business model that I know of marriage, I learned from my parents. I've learned this from my parents, and it works. And it worked for them for 35 years, and it is emotional, but I also know where it came from. I know their foundation, and I know that my mama's running a business. My mama's the CEO of Set.
Right.
So,
and again, it was a different era. So at that time, you know, it definitely was based off of more emotion than it was a business mindset. Because again, dude, I love you. You love me. Like, let's get married. You know, whatever we got and whatever we're gonna make work, we're gonna put it together and we're gonna make it work. But that's a different era. Nowadays, like Trex was saying, if you looking at people from if you got to look at it from a more financial standpoint, most people are looking to marry for whatever the benefit is. You love that person, yeah, but it's still you're marrying them because, like you just said, the benefit of us together is going to outweigh what either one of us can single-handedly do, and it's going to make us collectively a stronger unit.
Yeah.
That's that merger.
So,
it's that merger.
Go ahead,
I
Trek.
would say that
Trek Keno Stevens.
You just can't help yourself.
Messy.
So the emotional part, I don't think is like an exclusive women thing. I think that again, just that whole like how we supposed to present ourselves, or what is the thing of being the male or the black male or whatever. Like, I know I've gone down the process of what marriage was like when it wasn't about emotion, and then I've gone down the process of what marriage could have been like when it was about emotion. And it is definitely, I can look back on now and be like, okay, I can understand the difference. And going forward, if that situation arises, like I have a better insight on myself and like what I would look to deal with and what I would look to accept.
Okay. Y'all want to switch gears a little bit?
Switch it up.
All right. So,
Nope.
you know, Steve Harvey was pushing this narrative of waiting. You have to wait. I don't know if it's like 90. I don't know how many days it was that he was telling these
Typically
women.
90.
Oh, when he did the book before, or what you call it? Oh man,
I didn't read it. I watched the movie. It was funny. But so what is too early for a woman to have sex with a man? What is waiting too long? Like, is there a time, or is it just based off of when you feel like it?
It's just based off of when you
How you
feel
gonna
like
respect
it.
us?
Because most women know if they want to sleep with a dude when they first meet him.
Yep.
Yes.
Straight off the rip. She knows that.
You
Because
three stages.
and again, it goes back to the physical and the vision that they're looking at. If homeboy looked like he got his shit together, then absolutely she dropping him tonight.
Wait. When we say got it together, hold on.
No, because again, go ahead. And then
Okay, so like I forgot who I was talking about this with recently, just on the end of like we're in this, as we talk about with the whole new age of social media and the instantaneous contact and stuff. It's like, hey, you want to hook up? Yeah, all right, I'll meet you here. And you know what I'm saying? Like you could pre-plan when you about to drive or fly somewhere.
Absolutely.
And so the if you got your stuff together, is it that you have your stuff together, or just it's a total whole aesthetic thing. It's like, all right, that person's worth getting it.
Yeah, if it looks like they got it together.
I don't even.
Because if you shine a raggedy car, right, all you got is a shiny raggedy car.
I don't think it's time frame anymore. Because I mean, I'm sitting there thinking about it. Like I think I could say I've been in like 3 serious relationships, and all 3 of those serious relationships, I slept with them on the first night. You know, and there were others that I don't remember their names. So I don't think that there's a certain requirement in terms of time. I just think it's all about the vibe. Like literally, my current slept together on the first night. So I don't think there's that. I don't think it's almost like taboo to kind of talk about that stuff now, because I mean, like, I'm so free now and
right
stuff like that. So I don't know, so to even like not to say to not have a standard, but I mean, I'm gonna wait 90 days for what? Like if you like that man,
right?
act on your growth.
Waiting 90 days and over there dying.
For what? Like,
Wait though, but yo,
to give it to him in the first place. Now,
Right, but you make
of giving it to him, and you wanted him to work his way up or some garbage like that. Okay, that makes sense. But if you're attracted to me, I'm attracted to you. We're both mature adults.
hello.
Key in on mature adults, because I mean, we all know. I mean, brothers, we can attest that you got that one guy who everything is a conquest, like everything is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell the brother who hasn't had too many good relationships or no dealings with ladies, because he's the first person to brag about doing this.
Right.
But you're mature enough and can get with somebody, and maybe on the first night, maybe the vibe was just like that. Maybe the vibe was just like that. And I mean, I'm not gonna knock nobody for acting how she felt about me when she did, because I understand.
Hold on. And this is the other part of, like, you waited 90 days to do his business, and then he bad. Like, now you mad.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, you gave us 3 months of potential saving your own peace of mind,
Right.
because of some book that Steve Harvey wrote. And the fact that we
hold on.
the fact that we
And
even
Steve Harvey has been married like 3 or 4 times.
in itself.
I mean, according to our business model, he's failed at business a couple of times. Like,
a lot.
Right.
And so,
What you got, Tony? What you got?
This guy y'all talking about, I never heard of him before. So, I agree with the panel. I know these guys right here, but this guy they said, his name can't even come out of my mouth. My tongue can't even formulate his name.
Well, he hosts a Family Feud, and he got a morning show.
This is me though. This is me. This guy y'all talking about. I'm not a hater when it comes to financial savvy. I love a money getter. He know how, this guy, whatever his name, he know how to get that money, and that's where the 90-day thing came from. And think like a man, act like a woman, all this other stuff. Act like a woman, think like a man. So I never knock another black man for doing his thing and accomplishing wealth or however you want to do it. However, you can't try to put this on women, and like Nicole said, everybody else said, if you attractive, I like what Rob said, because my only love that I had in my life when I was younger, her and I actually slept on our first night, and we was together for several years. All right, and if you're attracted and the chemistries and the orpheums and everything is running, man, get your smackdown on,
So what do you say to women that are not virgins? They've been sexually active in the game for 10, 15, whatever years.
Oh, they
And
friendly?
now they're at a point in their life where they're like, you know what? I know what I want, and I'm going to be celibate until I get married. Why y'all laughing?
You say to her, may the odds be in her favor.
yeah, may the odds be ever.
And And I'm saying that because it's hard.
So you can't be a born again virgin, like.
You can't be. That person
whoa,
you might just not be wanted by that person because you want to be born again. You can't be ran through and stretched out for 37 years. And on the 38th birthday, you want to be a born again virgin and you want to just forget that you was out here ripping and running? No, ma'am.
So here's the thing. I think like I'm not gonna knock nobody that decides to do that. If that's what you feel you
Because it seems common.
You know, here's the
It's very common.
You now have limited your options.
Right.
Which now
drastically.
Which
she has no options.
Unless she moved to another state and nobody knows her name.
For your particular situation, it may work. However, you do know that by putting yourself out there like that, you're now limiting yourself to the type of man you may attract. Again, which may work out in your favor for your particular situation, which I said I'm not gonna knock it. So now they're just saying like you're gonna have to be here if you want to be this born again virgin, you're gonna have to have the patience of Job in order to get what you want out of acting like that. Not saying that that's the physical is a requirement, but I'm just saying, that's at this stage of the game, like you said, if they've been out there in the world for a minute, and I'm going to, are we talking about somebody that's 30 plus?
I think it's coming a lot more common in the 30s and the 40-year-old women deciding to close up the shop until marriage.
Then
because the other way hasn't been working for them.
Process.
All right, so I want to interject real quick, Rob. Hey, Rob, it's two things I want to say. First, I want to advise all the women out there, don't tell us how many men you slept with. And I know that some people would say, nah, I want to know. We all heard that. You say it was 5. We know it's 15, add whatever. Don't tell us. For you who want to be born again virgins who slept with 1,000 men, your best option is to find a George Byrne, somebody that's 80, 90 years old that's about to go over. All right. So, because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm Tony Wolf and everybody knows me. Ain't nobody going to really want to get serious with you far as men with standards, morals, and principles. So I wish you young ladies the best that didn't want to keep that particular area right there saved for that one special guy. But don't tell no guy how many men you done slept with and now you want to come a born again virgin. No, don't do that.
Wait, so is that like saying like, hey, now I know in general we have this thing in the male-female relationship and in even the same thing, like, well, how many people have you been with prior to me? And then you get caught up on what the number is because you can't, quote, validate or verify it. And depending on whatever insecurities you got going on in your head, like now you harping on the number, right? But I think to say like, and this is just me on my own, if that was you in your natural state, as you say, Mr. Wolf, how am I then gonna hold that against you when we finally do sync up? And like, if we really connect on stuff, and then you're like, yeah, I want to, hold off. I look at it and go, if we hold off, is this person, when we actually do, quote, have the physical interaction, am I still going to be what they're interested in? Or like, am I going to meet their standard then? Like, I think that would actually put some pressure on me on the end of us holding and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And then we finally get to it. And it's just like, all right, was I it for them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, and then if I'm not, right. And then if I'm not, and it's not a matter of like what your number or interaction or whatever was before me. It's we waited because I listened to you in saying that you wanted to wait. So I was like, all right, bet I vibe enough with you. I'll wait it out. Cool. And I do. and then you're like, you know what? Like, I know you got all the good stuff to be a married person, but this part right here,
It could
it's
have
like-
V8.
Yeah, you absolutely right, Trey. You're right. You're right. Because I spoke with a friend of mine the other day who met a gentleman. The conversation, the chemistry, everything was there. But when it came to the bedroom, you know how when you go on The Price is Right and they go dom dom dom, it wasn't there for her. And she told me, she said, Tony, I really like the guy. I really do, but in the bedroom, I have to have that. And most women say that even if a guy is jive okay, she can basically try to work it up. But he wasn't even jive. He just was non whatever. So I agree with you on that part. Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that part.
And then you made it, and then you wait, and that makes it worse, especially if it's trash. Like,
Yeah.
and who's to say? And Frank, say it's trash. Both sides. They both like, damn, I done waited this long to get with you, and you was trash. Well, shoot, I thought you was trash too. It's this.
Well, it seems like the two trash people can learn together.
Exactly.
Right. They got some things
Look at Nicole. Look at Nicole, the nurturer. We can always work things out. There you go with y'all women, that woman side. Oh, don't worry about it, baby. We can make it work. No, we're not making that work. No.
Well, I'm just saying when there's two people that's trash, it seems like they both need some.
No, if you both are trash, you get thrown to the garbage. That becomes garbage. Okay, Nicole, trash becomes garbage. Okay, everybody listen to this real quick. Nicole, trash becomes garbage. It gets thrown out. Okay, all right, next.
I'm not saying that I do not agree.
All right.
All right. So then here's a question. Aesthetically, what is your type of woman?
Aesthetically.
Looks. That's a big word.
That's
Looks. What you want that thing to look like?
Can it be a combination?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know if you want a combo platter woman. I don't know what you want. Build a bear.
I'm gonna say teeth and eyes.
Well, you do know that that Mr. Potato Head is going to be gender neutral now. I'm just saying.
You know what?
Really?
It's a damn vegetable.
So just say potato.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yo, I swear to God, it be certain things when I hear about how we going that I
But let's not talk about it. I hate the
Yeah.
world. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought it up. Okay, aesthetically, what do you guys? What do you want? You know, so I hear women be thinking that men just want breast and butt.
No, you know what? For me, they gotta have that side tooth. That one right here. When that crack of their mouth smiles, have that side tooth for me.
Bruh.
Yes.
Hey, you laughing. It was a young lady I went to Hampton University with who had the side tooth. When I say she was one of the baddest ones on campus,
Yeah.
and she had the
I
side
remember her to this day.
bruh, had the side tooth and the pretty like eyes.
No, I don't care about that damn side
Hey,
tooth.
I realized
But they gotta have teeth though.
some things.
Nice teeth. They can't just
I'm not telling you. So that's Tony Wolf's song. I'm not telling you.
They just have to come as their authentic self.
Right.
But I will say this. I will say this. She has to be a black sister though. I have never dated outside my race with any other woman. I love my black. I think that I was in the ancient times. I think I might have been like a Nat Turner or something. But anyway, I just love my black women. I love black exploitation films, right? And I believe those were the most beautiful sisters back then. They had their natural froze. They didn't wear no makeup. They were beautiful sisters. If y'all know what I'm talking about, Coffee, Uptown Saturday Night, Cotton Coming Out. Them was some beautiful sisters, man. Cleopatra Jones,
That's
you know.
for a long time.
All right, here a question. Y'all
Well,
not going.
wait. Let me answer. Let me answer that, and it's probably gonna be something real simple and plain. But you have to be somebody that I'm gonna be able to take home to my mother, and my family not gonna clown you.
So that means that somebody else has to be acceptance of who you accepted.
No, well, obviously I have to accept them as well. But at the same time, if me and this person plan to reproduce, which I don't plan on doing, you have to be, presented to me in a way that I'm going to be able to take you around other people.
Hold on. I don't now see. I was with you all through this show until you just said that. Now you done made me rethink this.
You disagree, Mr. Tony. Now come on now.
All right, because I had this discussion last week with a friend about validation. I used the word validation. Why do we find someone that we find attractive, that we feel we connected to, but then have to have a friend, family member, mom, pop, validate them? They're not the ones gonna be sleeping with them, waking up to them, and spending time with them.
I think what he was nicely saying is the broad can't be ugly because my siblings are gonna be like, that chick is ugly.
Okay, if she ugly, you ain't gonna be with her anyway. So why are we discussing that? I'm like, come on, man.
I might be because you know why? The business aspect of it might work for me. It might be totally.
You know what? I need to have you one-on-one. I need you one-on-one, man. Because I went with you. I went with you all the way through this show until right now, man.
Now, damn it! Don't quit on me now.
That's my man. I got you.
I'm not going to answer this question because you think you shouldn't, but I think you should. And I'll give you my answer first. So the question is, should there be a weight requirement? My answer is yes.
Today.
The weight that you came in with, you only get a little bit on the front and a little bit on the back.
Come on now.
Go past that, I am leaving you because I ain't no fat man, so I'm not staying with a fat man.
That's shallow.
Girl,
now,
very much.
Now,
it is shallow. It's super shallow, but I'm not attracted to fat people.
And that's your type, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and so I also think that if I go past a certain weight, my husband has the right to tell me, "Hey, you know where the gym is, right?"
Oh wow!
All right, can I? Hey, Nicole, can I go get my waist in and start working out real quick on the show? Because I don't want to get fat. Hold on, let me show you, Nicole. Hold on. Let me show you what I do.
Lord have mercy. I don't think. I think it boils down to.
You see it, Nicole? You see it? I'm working out. All right. I'm not gonna get fat.
20 pounds. It's 20 pounds on that bar. Again, it boils down to type. It boils down to type.
It's just a question. You can say no. There's no weight requirement. Yes, you have a weight requirement.
No, that's you, right?
Hey, question like that, King. You don't have to answer.
Hey, I know some females who like that weight though. So.
On our show.
That's for them. Their weight requirement might not want a skinny man. They'd be like, "Hey, you're getting too skinny. I need you to eat." Weight requirement don't mean skinny or it don't matter.
I plead the fifth.
I know y'all are. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say, I think I'm with you, Nicole, on that one. As far as like, hey, like when I get a certain thing, I need you to say something. And this is why I say, like, I want somebody who's working to motivate me, because like we understand like the physical body and how you keep it does play into how you're gonna enjoy your life in the later years. Mm-hmm. If you ended up getting like 30, 50 pounds on in your 30s, 60s is gonna be rough for you.
Right, but they can always turn that around, and it might be a medical situation that's causing them to gain that weight. You're gonna leave them because
different.
No. Yes. It plays into it. If somebody breaks their back and they put on weight because they can't do or perform at the level at which they used to be able to, you're gonna leave them because they physically can't do or gain weight.
That's completely different. That's just like saying if they lose their leg, I married you with 2 legs. Am I gonna leave? No, that's different. But if you're just being for me, I value physical fitness, right?
Well, we know. I'm gonna cut you off. I know where you're going. I'm gonna cut you off. My brother ain't gaining no 40, 50 pounds unless he start hitting them weights real hard. But come on.
But I mean, even for me, but what happens is you listen to these women that end up single, and they're like, "What happened?" And they're like,
right.
"Well, this happened and I gained weight, and this happened, I gained weight. But at no time did that man take that woman aside and say, hey, let's go to the gym together. Let's go for walks. Instead, they go cheat. And the same thing with women. They do the same thing. So that's what I'm saying. Is there a weight requirement? You can't say there isn't.
No.
If you met somebody a certain weight and that's what you was attracted to, and then they put on 100 pounds, you can't tell me that you're not going to be mad.
I get that. But at the same time, like, that person individually has to say that they need to correct or, fix what is going on.
I'm so done.
Wow.
Aaron, you a fool.
You know what?
Yeah, somebody speaking that legal jargon. They just put in a clause for you, buddy.
That's my damn brother.
Hey,
Yeah.
have AA Ron on the panel. We should have AA Ron on the panel.
Aaron don't say much.
He ain't gonna say nothing. Oh,
I mean,
man.
I think that's an
But, I mean,
individual thing.
I think it's realistic to say that you can't, I think it's harmful to say that when looks change and things of that nature, that doesn't become an issue. It's something that you have control over. And then we don't speak to each other. We don't speak to our spouses. And then those relationships break up. And it's something as simple as, let's go for a walk after dinner every night. Like, let's just do something to be heart healthy. So yes, Aaron is thin, is too thin to win, right? But I'm telling him, I don't care about, I need you to go to the gym because at the end of the day, I need you to be here. I don't care about the life insurance policy. I need you to be here. You went from 21 years of active service and being super active to sitting at a desk. I need your heart to be healthy. So all jokes aside, I need him to work out so that I have him at the end of the day. We have a 6-year-old. I need him to be here.
Exactly.
I don't need your life insurance policy.
Is it more so than a fitness requirement than a weight requirement? Then, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Because
you can be fat and be fit.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So is it more so? Then we go. Are we talking aesthetics? Are you talking about like you have to look a certain way? Because I mean, I know some big girls that could do every doggone Beyonce routine, like in here. I know some big dudes that can run further than I can. You know what I mean? So are we talking about aesthetics or are we talking about physical fitness? Because I mean,
let's talk about aesthetics. Let's talk about aesthetics first.
But I mean, there's there has to be an asterisk next. I mean, how did we get here? That's what I want to know. Did we just get upset and just start going nuts and eating McDonald's every day, or is there a medical condition? My thing is that this is just Rob and how I approach that topic, because it's always a ugly topic with us, and we're always made to be the villains. But my response is always this: how can I expect you to love me if you can't love yourself enough to take care of your health?
Right.
And I'm not saying, and again, I'm not. My expectations aren't need to be Instagram model with the super flat stomach and the bull crap. Have enough love for yourself to say that, hey, I want to be around for a while. You know what I mean? I want to maintain a healthy relationship. You know what I mean? Because I want to, like you said, be able to go for walks with my spouse. I want to be able to go run up and down the street with my kids and stuff like that. And how can you do that if you out, eating whatever you want to eat and treat your body any kind of way? So for me, I wouldn't even go with a weight requirement, but I mean, just look, like, I plan on being around for a while. You know what I mean? Again, going back to one of the first questions, we're talking about adapting. Like, I don't eat the same way that I did 10 years ago, just because of health reasons. You know what I mean? I don't consume, I don't consume certain meat. I don't consume, certain fried stuff. I just, because as again, I'm adapting. I want to be around for a while. Just being, I want to make sure I look good in a suit and stuff like that too. I'm not going to let myself get fat. You know what I mean? But that's just myself. I want to make sure I'm around for my spouse. So I think going back, kind of going at it's about like the health thing for me. You don't have to be no Instagram model, but take care of yourself is all I ask.
All right. Well, business wise, I want to tell your brother-in-law, when you said fat and fit, it made me think of a gym to start. Fat and fit, man. I might start that concept. Hey, don't nobody take that. I'm about to get a trademark. But anyway, so
Hey, I just need my 10%.
all right, I don't have no problem with that. We're gonna be multi-billionaires anyway. So with Rob, I like what Rob just said, and the whole thing with the health part is when you got someone who was a certain weight when you met them, and then they start to gain weight, it takes away, I guess, for some people what you were attracted to, if I can say it that way. Do I have any agreements? Because I seen a man Trek do his head like that, and that I don't see it. Yeah. What you think about that?
I was trying to read somebody's comment.
Yeah, I was reading it too.
Yeah. So okay. The other thing too, in regards to the weight thing, but it, like from an aesthetic point of view, like again, we got to a point where I think we are only really in this more where it's like sociably acceptable and that, hey, you need to work out or you need to like be physically responsible for your health more now, as opposed to before. Like, let's say the 30, 50 and so years ago, like you and your spouse or you as a individual, it was just the kind of accepted that, hey, you're going to get into your 40s and then your 50s, your body's going to start clunking out on you a little bit. And then you're going to gain weight when you're like in the 70s or whatever. And, you know, you're not supposed to work out because you're old. And that's what you get to do when you're an old person. Like,
yeah.
But when you look at it now, like there are actual gyms and like workout programs and things that specifically cater and target older people. That wasn't a thing 30 years ago. Like we're revamping how we look at this thing. Hey. So like, yeah, like I said, I just be having a lot of issues with how we supposed to be looking at things and saying like this is the new or this is what it's always been. I think in this case, like we are more aware of as you get older, you can still take care of yourself.
Yeah.
No, you don't got to have the 6 abs and all of that fun stuff, but you can still do things that do at least keep you physically healthy to last longer in life and enjoy life with your partner, your kids, or whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. All right. On the reverse side, what about someone who meets a woman or a man that is stocky or what they would say BBW, and then they lose the weight, and then the person says, "I don't like the weight loss."
Yeah, because that's not what they was attracted to. They was attracted to the BBW, and that's what they liked. So, and that's why I said it goes both ways. If this is what I meant,
that's a personal preference.
Yeah, that's about preference. So, I have a question about, you know, some of you guys have daughters or nieces or whatever. What advice would you give your daughters or your nieces about how to present themselves in the world in order to, I don't want to say get a man, because that puts us in our only job in life is to get a man. But how would you present them? How would you tell them to present themselves in life as a single person?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So shoot, I had this talk with my daughter the other day. Well, not the other day. This has actually been a while because of the COVID thing, but we did have this conversation. And my thing, and me and her moms, we both agree on it, where it's like, hey, don't ever let whoever you end up being with make you feel undervalued or unimportant. And if they can't, I'm trying to remember what the words I used exactly. And but bottom line was like, don't let somebody come into your space, and if you're looking to be in a relationship with them, make you feel undervalued. If they're not looking to help you build yourself and y'all are building something community, and we talk about like long, bigger relationship thing, But even as just a, hey, we're dating, whatever, like, don't let nobody make you feel undervalued. Because if that's what they doing, either a sideway conversation thing or just through action, nah, like, don't bring that person around me or your moms, because you already know how we are.
All right.
Okay.
Well, all right. My daughter's 30 years old, right? So I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. My daughter called me last Father's Day, said, "Happy Father's Day, Dad." I said, "Hey, thank you, baby girl." And we started talking, and she said, "You taught me how not to trust men."
Oh my.
And I said, "I'm glad that you picked that up." And we had to discuss why she felt that way. And so I will explain it in 30 seconds or less. She saw her father date a lot of women. I told her that your father is not a bad man. He's a good man. However, he has choices. And so I wanted to show her that when you get a man has choices. So and we discussed this earlier in the show about how a man knows what he wants. And so when you become the woman that you're supposed to be, or you're portraying to be the woman that he wants, he's going to choose you. And so that's one thing that I showed her through my actions. And I wanted her to see that. And a lot of my buddies were saying, "Why did you want her to see that?" I say, as my daughter, I'm a protector for her and I'm a provider. I said, so I wanted her to see how we as men move sometimes when we are living a single life. So we do move like that. However, when we do find that one woman that we believe is a good woman, then we start to move a little different and start devoting our time and our energy to that one woman.
Okay. Lamar, you got a slew of godchildren and a bunch of nieces.
Now, first off, don't go put my business in the streets like that. Nah, but well, my goddaughters, they're 9 and 5, so I mean, they still got some ways to, get to dating. But like as far as my nieces go, like I mean, I try to just tell them to, look for things that they are willing to put up with. Like know who you are as an individual and know what you can bring to the table, and don't depend on somebody else, like Tony was saying, to validate your relationship. You are in charge of that, so you validate that. If that person is what worked for you, or that's your cup of tea, then you drink that. But at the same time, don't make it seem like you want somebody that's going to the boardroom and you got somebody that's standing on the corner, or that's selling drugs or doing whatever else. Like you know what you're looking for. Don't settle just to say that you settled, or just to say that you got somebody.
Okay. Rob.
So I guess like I don't have a daughter, but I have a cousin who I assisted with raising, and I got a couple of nieces and stuff. And I guess like I'm very, very blunt with them about the conversation I have. Like I said, my cousin, she's exactly 10 years younger than me, and so I got a chance to really watch her grow up, and she saw a lot of my dirt, and so like we had conversations. I told her stuff. I was like, look. I get away with what I get away with. It's allowed. And so the kind of message that I used to tell her was that, a dude's only going to do what you allow him to do. So like I used to, I would tell her straight up, like give her all kinds of game. Like, look, you are, how you put yourself out there is your resume. You know what I'm saying? So what you attract is the jobs that you earn. You know what I mean? If you put yourself out there as, relatively easy, then, dudes are going to get you kind of crazy. Look, I can't be honest with her. I was like, you realize how far that you'll get with a man just because if he has the hope of getting from you, just the hope. I was like, you don't even have to do anything with a man, just off the strength of he has the hope that he could get something from you. You could go very, very far and find out a whole lot about, and he'll reveal to you what his real intentions are. As long as he has that hope. Now, once you cash that check with him, then you've pretty much lost or whatever. But I mean, so long as you got that hope, you know, you don't have too much to worry about. But no, it's
Okay.
I try my best to be honest.
Black people don't hope, we wish. No.
Wish somebody would. So my last question, and then we'll wrap it up, is when it comes to the young ladies in your life, the daughters and the nieces and the godchildren, are you pushing education and entrepreneurship and building futures for themselves?
Absolutely.
Come now.
And the reason I'm saying that is because, I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a formal education to excel in life. You just have to have the drive and the ambition to go out and get what somebody ain't gonna sit around, what you can't afford to sit around and have somebody hand to you.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my godkids and my nieces and nephews all the time, nobody's gonna hand you shit. You know what I mean? You never allow yourself to get to a point to where you're codependent on somebody else providing for you, because they're gonna outgrow that, and they're gonna get tired of taking care of you. And then what do you have?
Anybody else?
You already know me and my techie talk stuff. Oh man, I gotta talk to you about that stuff offline. She always says that to me. Once I start talking certain things, she's like, hold on, you're using words that you know I don't understand, sir.
I know you're talking about.
So, but yeah, that like I with both of mine, like even for the stuff that I'm setting up now in relation to the blockchain stuff, it's all about like, here, I'm giving you these basic building blocks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach you enough that you need, and then go off and like monetize whatever it is you want to come up with. You know, and I don't know. I think I am the opposite of my kid's mother. Like, I'm not the education side route. They're both high degreed. And I always say to my kids, like, if you want to run down this route, you got to work way different and come out of your comfort zone. But it's doable. But I'm trying to give them like more of a technical, smart, like less work intensive way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's a process. It's a
Work
process.
smarter, not hard.
Yeah, I'm trying, but you know, there's certain things that I still want them to understand and appreciate in learning the process, or at least going through the trials and error part of it.
Yeah, they got to understand the struggle instead of just reaping a reward.
Right. So like that's part of my worry about like that whole just like, here is this thing and you can do what you need to do to make money with it or whatever, or be in a better position, let's say. What's the face?
That's a whole different conversation, but I just don't agree that. I think that's problematic. Like I don't want my daughter to have to know the struggle part. If I can hand her a business right now, I'm gonna hand my daughter a business right now, and she's gonna learn how to work it, but she don't got to struggle for it. That's the difference between us and them. She don't have to struggle for it. If I can hand her a house at 18, I'm gonna hand my daughter a house at 18, and then I'm gonna show her how to operate that house. I'm not. She doesn't have to struggle for it. But I have a daughter.
All right. Well, I was explaining to y'all earlier when I was headed home that I was there celebrating my daughter opening up her second Last Tech shop, and so all I can say is she got her father's bloodline in her. Next.
Tell them. So to wrap this up, some of the questions I asked you guys were based off of things that I have been seeing, just joining Facebook groups and listening to the conversations between men and women. And then we all know that there's individuals on YouTube who have different perspectives. We have one male that has a perspective that just bashes men. We have another male that has a perspective that's, I don't want to say bashes women. I want to say that's a little bit more raw, and it comes and it has men thinking that the things that you guys value are not a woman's brain and what they come to the table, and it kind of putting us in a different perspective. So I wanted to talk to you guys just to see what's going on. And it seems like the weight is not an issue, even though this gentleman does ask how tall are you, how much you weigh, and says that no man wants a woman bigger than her. So I just want to say that you guys have defunct the fact that everything is not black and white, that there's so many variables that go involved in what a man wants from a woman. It depends on the man. It depends on the situation. It depends on what your circumstances are. It actually depends on where you live. If you're a New Yorker, you know you're a hustler. Okay, you have to have a 2-income household. We not working one person. It's just not going to work that way. It depends on where you are in life. And I appreciate you guys being mostly honest. I appreciate you guys coming because y'all know y'all want to bigger over the line. But I think you guys been super, I think it was super dope. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I know it's about 10 o'clock at night there, 6 a.m. here, and I got to start my day. I was supposed to be at the gym 6 minutes ago because my husband said there's a no fat clause in our marriage. So
You must have read over that part.
I know the no fat clause, so I had to lose some weight. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, it was great having you guys. Everybody, if you want to go check these people out, they put their ads where that you can find them. All these people here have something to offer. These gentlemen are not just, they don't work at the McDonald's, and there's nothing wrong with that. They don't work at the Home Depot, and there's nothing wrong with that. These men all have something to offer. We all have something to offer the world. Hopefully I can get you guys back on for another topic. And good night.
Deuce.
Good night.